Liu Jinlan, a domestic cleaner, was dead. Living alone, she was found lying motionless on her bed by her neighbor. When the ambulance arrived, it was confirmed she had already passed away. The coroner's initial suspicion: cyanide poisoning. There was no suicide note at the scene. The case was assigned to veteran detective Ma Li and rookie officer Yang Chao. Their investigation revealed that Liu Jinlan had been widowed for years, and her only son had died in a car accident 2 years ago. She had a grandson who lived with her until preschool age, after which her daughter-in-law took him back. The two officers learned an important detail from her neighbor, Aunt Peng. Liu Jinlan's daughter-in-law was dating a man from out of town and planning to remarry. She intended to take the grandson with her to another city. She treasured that boy more than her own life, Aunt Peng said. Her son is gone, and now they want to take her grandson far away? When he grows up, will he even remember her as his grandma? Can you imagine how she felt? She even came to my son to ask about custody laws. He helped her check, and apparently, grandparents can't win custody cases. Yang Chao nodded. That's correct. Unless the parents refuse to take care of the child, grandparents can't claim custody. Aunt Peng sighed again. She argued with her daughter-in-law over it. She even secretly took the child from preschool once. Her daughter-in-law got so mad, she called the police. Since then, she wouldn't even speak to Liu Jinlan, let alone let her see the boy. That's why I suspect she might have done this out of despair, Aunt Peng said hesitantly, glancing at Molly. Don't you think so? Molly didn't answer her question. Instead, he asked, when was the last time you saw Liu Jinlan? Aunt Peng thought for a moment. Around 4:30 yesterday afternoon. I had just picked up my granddaughter from preschool and ran into her at the door. We chatted for a bit before she went inside. She paused, then continued. Later, around 7 p.m., when my son and his wife came to pick up my granddaughter, they brought me a large box of mandarin oranges. I took a bag over to Jinlan's place. I knocked, but no one answered. I assumed she had gone out, so I left the fruit hanging on her door, as I usually do. This morning, it was still there, untouched. I felt something was wrong, so I used my spare key to go in and check. We had each other's keys, just in case something like this happened. We were both alone most of the time, and it was a way to look out for each other. When I went inside, I saw her lying on the bed, fully dressed. I called her name, but she didn't respond. At first, I thought she might have fallen ill and urgently called 120. Aunt Peng's voice trailed off, choked with sobs. After leaving Aunt Peng's apartment, Ma Li and Yang Chao visited Liu Jinlan's home. Her small, tidy apartment was about 50 to 60 square meters, much neater than Aunt Peng's. On one wall stood a shrine with 2 black and white photos, both of young men who resembled each other. They were likely Liu Jinlan's late husband and son. The adjacent wall was covered in colorful photos of a young boy, from baby pictures to adorable ones of a 3- or 4-year-old. His features bore a striking resemblance to his father and grandfather. The stark contrast between the black and white and color photos painted the story of this woman's entire life, its joys and sorrows. Next, they went to see Liu Jinlan's daughter-in-law, Zhang Fong, whom they had already contacted that morning. Zhang Fong's eyes were red, her expression somber. I never thought she'd do something like this. I know how important Duo Bao was to her. He's important to me too. I didn't want this to happen. I should have been more patient with her. Her voice cracked, and tears began to flow. Yang Chao quickly handed her a tissue. Thank you, she said, composing herself. What do you want to ask? Go ahead. After a pause, Molly asked, when was the last time you saw Liu Jinlan? Zhang Fong hesitated. Yesterday afternoon, around 2 p.m. She came to my place to see Duo Bao. Yang Chao recalled Aunt Peng mentioning 4:30 p.m. and found it odd. Wasn't the child at preschool? Zhang Fong answered candidly. I've been keeping Duo Bao at home recently to avoid any trouble with my mother-in-law. His dad took him out today. Both officers froze for a moment before realizing that dad referred to Zhang Fong's fiancé. She caused quite a scene before, trying to take the child away. When she showed up yesterday, I was actually pretty nervous. What was her mood like? Did you argue? Molly asked.
No, we didn't.
She was surprisingly calm. She played with Duo Bao for a while. We chatted briefly, and then she left. Zhang Fong replied. What did you talk about? Molly pressed. Zhang Fong frowned, hesitating. Is that important? We didn't talk much. It was awkward because of our past conflicts. She did ask about my wedding date and mentioned wanting to give me a wedding gift. Officer, was this a suicide? Back at the Criminal Investigation Division, forensic expert Lao Su handed over the autopsy report. The victim died around 5 p.m. due to cyanide poisoning, Lao Su explained. The same toxic substance was found in the insulated tumbler on her bedside table. No foreign fingerprints were discovered, only the victim's. Yang Chao flipped through the report. Cyanide? It's tightly regulated in modern countries. Could she have committed suicide with cyanide? Old Ma snatched the report from him, frowning. Stick to evidence. Do you have proof Liu Jinlan committed suicide? Yang Chao sheepishly smiled. No. I just mean Liu Jinlan's death seems suspicious. He continued, we found a deposit receipt from a jewelry store in her bag. Looks like she purchased some jewelry the day before her death. Old Ma shot him a rare, approving glance. Go on. She hadn't collected the item yet. It doesn't align with the logic of someone planning to take their own life. Old Ma took a sip from his own tumbler, listening as Yang Chao pointed at it. The tumbler at the scene was the only contaminated item. No trace of any container used to store or administer the poison was found. That's odd too. Old Ma coughed lightly and set his tumbler down. I called Liu Jinlan's housekeeping company. She had a cleaning job scheduled for this afternoon. They confirmed this over the phone at 4:45 p.m. yesterday. Yang Chao's enthusiasm grew. She died right after confirming the job. This makes murder far more likely. I'd bet Zhang Fong is involved. She had the biggest conflict with Liu Jinlan before her death. By the way, what did the local precinct say about the previous report involving her? Yang Chao had missed Old Ma's earlier call while fetching their car. Old Ma replied, the dispute between Liu Jinlan and Zhang Fong wasn't just about Zhang Fong taking the grandson away. Zhang Fong also wanted the child to change his surname to match her new husband's. Yang Chao clapped his hands triumphantly.
See?
I was right. It has to be about the custody dispute. Liu Jinlan refused to give up her grandson, so Zhang Fong poisoned her in a fit of rage. Just as Old Ma started to reconsider Yang Chao's potential, the young man's wild speculation made him scowl. Where's your evidence, Comrade Yang? You need to stop jumping to conclusions. We're police officers. Our words carry legal consequences. Yang Chao grimaced. Bold assumptions, cautious verification. That's all I'm doing. An idea struck him, and he pulled out his phone. Let me call Zhang Fong and ask if Liu Jinlan used her tumbler while visiting. Old Ma sighed but let him proceed. After a brief conversation, Yang Chao's expression stiffened. He blinked at Old Ma in alarm. Zhang Fong said she refilled water in Liu Jinlan's tumbler. Zhang Fong was brought into the interrogation room. When she learned that cyanide was found in Liu Jinlan's tumbler, her face turned pale. That's impossible. It can't be true. Old Ma handed her the forensic report and showed her the evidence bag containing the tumbler. Is this the tumbler you refilled yesterday? Zhang Fong stared at it, terrified, and nodded. In a calm voice, Old Ma said, Tell us what happened yesterday in detail, starting with the tumbler. Why did you refill it? Zhang Fong explained nervously. When she arrived, Duobao had just woken from his nap and wanted water. I hadn't boiled any yet, and the freshly boiled water was too hot. She said the water in her tumbler should be cool enough to mix and give to Duobao, but I felt it wasn't right to use her water. Luckily, when she checked, her tumbler was empty, so I offered to refill it for her. She glanced anxiously at Old Ma and Yang Chao. You don't think I poisoned her, do you? I have no reason to. The law would have granted me custody anyway. Besides, Both duo bow and I drank from that same water. Nothing happened to us. Oh, and I have security cameras in the living room. I'll share the footage with you. Old Ma and Yang Chao reviewed the surveillance footage. It showed Lu Jinlan taking out her tumbler. Zhang Fong stopped her from using it, and Lu Jinlan shook it, seemingly to check if it was empty, before opening the lid. Zhang Fong offered to refill it, and then did so, handing the steaming tumbler back to Lu Jinlan. The rest of the video showed the two women chatting casually. Lu Jinlan seemed to be trying to ease the tension between them, asking about Zhang Fong's wedding plans and mentioning she wanted to give her a gift. She also asked for some of her grandson's belongings as keepsakes. Zhang Fong said she'd look for them when packing. When Lu Jinlan was leaving, she took a small sip from the tumbler before screwing the lid back on and putting it into her bag. Yang Chao replayed the clip of Zhang Fong refilling the tumbler and Lu Jinlan drinking from it. Looks like Zhang Fong didn't poison her after all. The footage confirmed that when Lu Jinlan left Zhang Fong's home around 4 p.m., the water in her tumbler was uncontaminated. This means someone must have followed her and poisoned the tumbler after she got home, Yang Chao speculated, turning to Old Ma for his thoughts. Old Ma was lost in thought, barely hearing Yang Chao's suggestion. Yang Chao called his name again, snapping him out of his reverie. "What's on your mind?" Yang Chao asked. Old Ma replied, "Didn't you catch what she asked Zhang Fong at the end? Is it true that before Tianyu's car accident, he went to meet that woman?" Yang Chao was stunned. "Tianyu? Oh, you mean Lu Jinlan's son." Wu Tianyu's death had been peculiar. He'd taken an unexpected detour to a remote mountain road, where he lost control of his speeding car, crashed into a tree, and died on the spot. The area had no cameras, and traffic was scarce. The traffic police concluded it was a simple case of reckless driving and closed the file. But now Lu Jinlan's cryptic question raised new doubts. Before focusing on Wu Tianyu's death, Old Ma decided to investigate the tumbler further. They also needed to reconstruct Lu Jinlan's entire schedule on the day of her death. Old Ma examined the tumbler more closely and noticed its logo, a floral emblem with the letters YNA. Yang Chao pieced the letters together aloud. "Ina, that's Pinyin." Flipping through Lu Jinlan's personnel file from the housekeeping company, Old Ma spotted a reference to Ina Beauty Spa. The investigation was far from over. The next day, Lao Ma and Yang Chao went to Yaina Beauty Salon. They found the owner, Song Erin, who exuded elegance and charm, her well-maintained appearance defying her actual age. She greeted them warmly and led them to her office. Lao Ma got straight to the point. "Does Lu Jinlan work as a cleaner at your salon?" Song Erin sighed. "I guessed you might come asking. She didn't show up yesterday. I called the cleaning company and found out what happened. How could something like this happen to her?" Lao Ma pressed on. "How long has she been working at your salon?" Song Erin explained, "Lu was initially a cleaner at my home, hard-working and efficient. She only recently started helping out at the salon." Yang Chao showed her a photo of the thermos and asked, "Does this thermos have any connection to your salon?" After taking a look, Song Erin replied immediately, "That thermos was a custom gift we gave out for the salon's 8th anniversary." Yang Chao continued, "Did Lu Jinlan receive one as well?" Song Erin hesitated briefly before nodding. "I gave it to her." She seemed uneasy as she asked, "Is there something wrong with the thermos?" Lama replied, "It's just routine questioning. When did you give it to her?" Song Erin was about to answer when the door suddenly opened. A stunningly dressed woman peeked in, her voice sugary sweet. "Darling." She stopped abruptly upon seeing the two men in the office, her smile freezing. Song Erin quickly stood up to greet her. It's you. Do you need something?" The woman glanced at the two men in the room, smiled brightly, and said, "Oh, you have guests. Never mind. I'll come by another time." Once the interruption ended, the three returned to their discussion. Lao Ma repeated his question. Song Erin said she couldn't quite remember. "Just a few days ago, I think." Lao Ma continued, "What time did Lu Jinlan arrive at the salon the day before yesterday? When did she leave?" Song Erin called in an employee to confirm. The staff member reported that Liu Jinlan had arrived at 8 a.m. and left around 10 a.m. after finishing her cleaning tasks. Do you usually hire hourly cleaners? Lao Ma asked. Song Erin smiled. Of course not. But we've been busier with our anniversary celebration, so I had her come in the mornings to help out. Liu Jinlan didn't want to take on more hours since she often had to pick up her grandson in the afternoons. Otherwise, I would have hired her full-time. Lao Ma asked, how many of these thermoses were given out? Song Erin thought for a moment, then shrugged. I didn't keep count. Probably a few hundred. Did Liu Jinlan have this thermos with her the day before yesterday when she came to the salon? Song Erin hesitated. I think so. She usually carried a backpack with a thermos tucked in the side pocket. Lao Ma noted her expression and felt she might be withholding something. Did you personally see her the day before yesterday? Song Erin admitted she hadn't been at the salon that day. After leaving the salon and heading to the parking lot to get their car, they were about to get in when they heard someone honking frantically behind them. Yang Chao turned to see a glamorous woman waving at him. It was the same woman they had just seen at the salon. She looked at him with wide, pleading eyes, her long lashes fluttering. Sir, could you please help me? That's when Yang Chao noticed her bright pink BMW M750 stuck awkwardly in the parking space, unable to move in or out. How had she managed to get herself into such a predicament in such a large space? Women drivers. Sighing, Yang Chao got into her car and maneuvered it out of the tight spot. The woman was overjoyed, showering him with coquettish gratitude and insisting on adding him on WeChat. Yang Chao's ears turned red, unsure of how to handle the situation. At that moment, Lao Ma honked impatiently to hurry him along. Yang Chao quickly explained that he was a police officer, just doing his duty to help the public. This revelation only excited the woman further. She declared that having a police officer as a contact would make her feel much safer. She insisted on adding him anyway and drove off in her eye-catching car, leaving a dramatic curve as she exited the lot. Yang Chao returned to their car, still a bit dazed. Lao Ma gave him a knowing smirk. Scratching his head awkwardly, Yang Chao said, just doing my duty to help the public, you know? Then, with a touch of pride, he added, my mom keeps saying I'll be single forever because I'm no good with women. It's just that we're too busy with work to date. Lao Ma glanced at Yang Chao's rough, angular face and didn't have the heart to burst his bubble. Next, they went to the housekeeping agency where Liu Jinlan was registered. The manager, Sister Wang, used to work as a cleaner herself and had known Liu Jinlan for many years. She provided a lot of insight into Liu's life. Liu's husband passed away from illness when she was very young, Sister Wang explained. She moved to the city with her son to make a living, working in factories, running market stalls. She went through a lot. Eventually, she started doing housekeeping, and she's been at it for over 10 years now. She managed to buy her own place, the one she's living in now, and put her son through college. He got married, and in the past few years, while her daughter-in-law was pregnant and raising their child, Liu stopped working. But now that her grandson is in kindergarten, she decided to take on jobs again. Sister Wang shook her head. I told her she should enjoy her retirement, but she said she couldn't stand being idle. Having work gave her life structure. She's had such a tough life. Do you know about her son's troubles? He was such a good young man. First, he was scammed while dating, and then, after he finally settled down and had a child, he had a car accident. Lao Ma immediately asked, scammed while dating? When did that happen? Sister Wang thought for a moment. About 5 or 6 years ago. He met a young, pretty girl online. Liu mentioned it once. I told her online dating was risky, but I didn't expect to be right. Yang Chao felt it was more important to figure out where the victim had been the day before her death, so he asked, besides working at Yaina Salon, did Liu Jinlan take on any other jobs that day? She was supposed to, Sister Wang replied, but she said something came up and rescheduled it for today. I had just spoken with her about it the night before, and the next day, I heard she had passed away. Officer, how did she die? Lao Ma explained that the case was still under investigation, so they couldn't disclose any details. He then asked, "Can you tell me more about her son?" Yang Chao was puzzled as to why Lao Ma seemed so interested in her son's situation. Sister Wang thought for a bit. "It's been so long. I can't recall all the details. Her son met a woman online. Liu complained about how the girl was very demanding, always asking her son to buy her things. Luckily, her son got a well-paying job after graduation. I heard he made quite a bit of money every month. She even ran into the girl once when her son brought her along on a date. Liu didn't think the girl was the type to settle down, but what could she do? Her son was smitten. Eventually, though, they broke up. Her son was devastated, completely lost it. He ran off to another city to look for her, stopped going to work, and didn't even come home. Liu was so worried she fell seriously ill. It wasn't until then that he finally came to his senses and returned to work. Later, I heard from Liu that the girl was probably a scammer and had taken quite a bit of money from her son. Afterward, someone introduced him to Duobao's mother. They got married not long after and had Duobao. Liu thought her hardships were finally over, but then her son had his accident. What a life she's had. As they left the agency, Yang Chao couldn't help but ask Lao Ma, "Do you think this has something to do with her son?" Lao Ma didn't respond. His instincts told him there was more to uncover here, though he couldn't yet pinpoint why. Back at the station, Xiaoli, who worked as an office clerk in the criminal investigation unit, called. He had contacted the jewelry store and found out that Liu Jinlan had ordered a pair of Dragon and Phoenix bracelets. Lao Ma and Yang Chao headed to Chen's jewelry store. After explaining their purpose, the store manager brought out the bracelets. Just by holding them, it was clear they weren't cheap trinkets. They weighed 66 grams and were priced at nearly 30,000 yuan. The manager explained that Liu had come in 3 days earlier to place the order. She said it was a wedding gift. She liked the style but thought it was too light, so we sourced this heavier pair for her. Yang Chao stared at the bracelets, marveling. That's quite a splurge. This must have been the wedding gift she was planning to give Zhangfang. Do cleaners earn that much these days? After a quick meal, the two returned to the office. It was lunchtime, and the place was empty. Old Ma, following his habit, lit a cigarette after eating and began scribbling on the whiteboard. Turning back, he noticed Yang Chao holding his phone, looking love-struck as he chatted away. Old Ma gave him a nudge. "Who are you chatting with? You look like a lovesick puppy." Yang Chao jumped in surprise and muttered in annoyance, "I'm working on something serious. Remember that beautiful woman we saw at the parking lot from the Yaina Club? She told me something about the case." Old Ma narrowed his eyes. How does she know about Liu Jinlan's case? The investigation is still ongoing. Don't let your personal interests interfere with protocol. Of course I know what I can and can't say. She was just offering a lead. And what did she say? She mentioned seeing Song Erin hand a stack of something, probably money, to Liu Jinlan a few days ago. Song Erin also told Liu Jinlan to keep it confidential. Old Ma paused, lost in thought. I had a feeling Song Erin was hiding something. On the whiteboard, Old Ma marked Liu Jinlan's movements on the day of her death. From 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., there was a big question mark. Her call logs showed only 3 calls after 10 a.m., 1 to her cleaning company, 1 to Zhangfang, and 2 others. 1 was a confirmed telemarketing call, while the other 2 numbers didn't respond or were switched off when called back. The club's surveillance footage, limited to the reception area, showed Liu Jinlan arriving at 8 a.m. and leaving at 10:10 a.m. A thermos was tucked into the side pocket of her bag. Old Ma kept comparing the footage of Liu Jinlan at the club with the footage from Zhang Fang's house later that day. Both showed a thermos in her bag, but the one in the afternoon appeared shorter. The thermos was swapped, Old Ma muttered. Song Erin's account clearly had holes. Old Ma asked Yang Chao to gather more information from the woman at the club, while he decided to check Liu Jinlan's bank records. Just then, Xiaoli, a junior officer, entered the room with some documents. Seeing Yang Chao glued to his phone, she placed the files on his desk with a noticeable thud. Annoyed by his lack of attention, she stormed off. After some time, Yang Chao reluctantly put his phone down and opened the file. When he saw one particular number in Liu Jinlan's call records, he yelled, "Old Ma! Old Ma!" A quick search of the number's registered owner revealed a shocking detail. It belonged to Song Na, Song Iren's daughter. She had been brought to the city 5 years ago. Old Ma and Yang Chao decided it was time to invite Song Iren back to the station for questioning. After hours of hesitation, Song Iren insisted she didn't know her daughter's whereabouts and refused to cooperate further. Old Ma remained unfazed. "You called Liu Jinlan on the day of her death." Song Na, who had been found hiding at a friend's house, was also brought in. Old Ma began questioning her without revealing too much. "You called Liu Jinlan the day before yesterday. What's going on? Why are you involving me? Call my mom and get me a lawyer. I'm not saying anything without one." "Of course, that's your right. But Liu Jinlan is dead. This is a homicide investigation, and we need your cooperation." "Liu Jinlan is dead? That's impossible." Song Na's shock seemed genuine. She muttered in disbelief before breaking into loud sobs. Old Ma waited for her to calm down before continuing. "Why did you call her that day?" Sniffling, Song Na replied, "I had an argument with my mom." She explained that a few days earlier, she had sprinkled some glucose powder on a piece of paper and pretended to snort it, just to anger her mother. Liu Jinlan was there that day and saw through the prank. "She told me I shouldn't provoke my mom like that, and that my mom worked hard and cared about me. She even tried the powder to confirm it wasn't drugs." The argument escalated when Song Iren heard from a friend that Song Na's ex-boyfriend, a wealthy heir, had been arrested for drug possession. "She accused me of doing drugs too, and threatened to lock me up for detox. I was so angry, I called Liu Jinlan to vouch for me. When my mom still wouldn't believe me, I climbed onto the second-floor railing and threatened to jump." In the chaos that followed, Liu Jinlan and Song Iren tried to pull Song Na back inside. During the scuffle, her phone and Liu Jinlan's thermos fell and broke. Song Na stormed out and went to a friend's house, refusing to answer her mother's calls. When questioned about the money scene exchange at the club, Song Iren initially refused to comment. Old Ma reassured her, "Your daughter isn't doing drugs. If you don't believe me, we can arrange a test." Song Iren finally relented. That day, I panicked when I saw her on the railing. I gave Liu Jinlan money because I didn't want her telling anyone about the incident. But she didn't take it. She said I should trust my daughter and try to build a better relationship with her. What about the thermos? It broke when it fell. I gave her a new one, a promotional item from the club. I even filled it with warm water for her before she left. And when did she leave your house? Close to noon. I wanted her to stay for lunch, but she said she had another appointment and left in a hurry. Old Ma nodded solemnly. As parents, we show love by trusting our children. Sometimes a simple "I believe you" can heal more than we realize. The case had reached another deadlock. Who did Liu Jinlan meet? Where did she go? And when was the poison put into the thermos cup? Yang Chao raised another question. Song Iren said she had washed the thermos cup and filled it with water before giving it to Liu Jinlan. But when Liu Jinlan arrived at Zhang Fang's house at 2 p.m., the thermos cup was empty. Also, the thermos cup should have had Song Iren's fingerprints, not just Liu Jinlan's. It seemed that finding out where Liu Jinlan went and who she met between 12 p.m. and 2 p.m. was the key. Old Ma recalled the dragon and phoenix bracelets and said to Yang Chao, "Let's talk to Zhang Fang again and ask if there was anything unusual during their meeting. As for the bracelets, whether they were meant for her or not, she's the one who needs to handle them now. Liu Jinlan only has her grandson left as a direct relative." Yang Chao sighed. If we had evidence, those bank account transactions alone would show Zhang Fang had a motive for doing something drastic. Zhang Fang stared at the receipt for the bracelets in silence for a long time before speaking. My mother-in-law was always kind to me. Because I was getting older and my parents were pressuring me, I hastily decided to marry Tianyu. Soon after the wedding, I found out he had feelings for someone else. By then, I was already pregnant with Duo Bao. My mother-in-law told me he had fallen for a con artist and persuaded me to give him some time. I think she wanted to make it up to me. She was always accommodating to me. Even this apartment was paid for by her, though it's under both my and Tianyu's names. I'm really not trying to take Duo Bao away. I just want to give him a normal family. He's so young. My current boyfriend cares a lot about him, and Duo Bao is willing to call him Dad. Changing his last name is just to protect him from strange looks in the future. Zhang Feng choked up. Old Ma asked, in the surveillance footage, Lu Jinlan asked you whether Wu Tianyu had met that woman, his ex-girlfriend, before the car accident. Was it her? After a pause, Zhang Feng replied, I wasn't sure. Back then, I was so upset because of the custody fight that I blurted out how Tianyu never cared about me or the child. Before the accident, he'd been in contact with her. He might have gone to that remote place just to meet her. Yang Chao asked, if you said that, there must have been a reason. Zhang Feng said, a few days before the accident, Tianyu was acting strange. He wasn't coming home on time. I secretly checked his phone and found photos of a woman. I was furious and fought with him. Looking back, those photos seemed to have been taken secretly. Old Ma said, can I see the things Wu Tianyu left behind, like the photos you mentioned? Zhang Feng replied, his phone broke during the car accident. When it was returned, I didn't bother with it. It's stored with his other belongings in that storage cabinet. You can take it if you need it, but please return it afterward. My mother-in-law mentioned wanting it. I planned to burn it with her belongings after her funeral. She started crying again. Yang Chao, feeling sympathetic, comforted her. Your mother-in-law probably came to terms with everything and wanted to give Duo Bao a normal environment to grow up in. The bracelets are her way of genuinely blessing you and your family. Treat the child well, and you'll be honoring her memory. Using technical methods, they quickly recovered photos and information from Wu Tianyu's phone. When Yang Chao saw the photos, he was shocked. It was her. The chat history on the phone confirmed that Wu Tianyu had met her before his accident. When they brought the woman in for questioning, her seemingly strong exterior crumbled when they showed her the chat history and surveillance footage of Lu Jinlan entering her residential area. The case was solved. Yang Chao led a team to search the woman's house for evidence, but didn't participate in the interrogation. After it was over, Old Ma came out. Yang Chao asked, was it really her who poisoned her? Old Ma nodded. Yang Chao said, you seemed to suspect her early on. I didn't even think of her. Old Ma smugly replied, when she deliberately parked crookedly that day and waited for you to help her, I thought it was odd. Nowadays, it's rare to see young, beautiful women so eager to volunteer information to the police. She was the woman Yang Chao had met at the parking lot, the beautiful woman who turned out to be Wu Tianyu's ex-girlfriend. At the anniversary event for the club, she had attended as a member. Lu Jinlan recognized her, but she didn't recognize Lu Jinlan. Who would notice a cleaning lady? She claimed Lu Jinlan had stalked her, even to her home. She had married a wealthy man 2 years ago, fulfilling her dreams. She feared her husband finding out because she had seen Lu Jinlan receiving money from Song Yiren and assumed Lu Jinlan just wanted money. She arranged for Lu Jinlan to come to her house when her husband was away. But Lu Jinlan wasn't after money. She wanted the truth. She asked if Wu Tianyu had been with her before his death. Terrified, she made up her mind to kill Lu Jinlan. She lied and coaxed Lu Jinlan into trusting her, then swapped Lu Jinlan's thermos cup with her own identical one. Yang Chao presented the identical thermos cup found at her house. If Lu Jinlan's fingerprints were found on it, the chain of evidence would be complete. But Yang Chao was curious. Where exactly was the poison? Lu Jinlan drank water at Zhang Feng's house. Old Ma explained. In the lid. She learned the method from the drama empresses in the palace. The cup wasn't sealed properly at Zhang Feng's house. By the time Lu Jinlan returned home, steam had spread the poison throughout the thermos. Yang Chao was incredulous. Cyanide?
She bought it online.
And it was in her house. How did she prepare so thoroughly on a whim? Old Ma said, "Did you notice the bruises on her arm?" Yang Chao understood. "You're saying domestic violence? Was she planning too?" I truly cared for Wu Tianyu back then. But he lied to me, pretended to be rich, saying his family had money from land compensation. Then I found out his mother was a cleaner. How could he have any money? I just wanted to choose a better life. I didn't expect his mother to find me. She was so poor. Why wouldn't she take the money? No matter what I said, she didn't believe me. She said she would find the truth. I couldn't let my husband find out. He's already tired of me and just looking for an excuse to dump me. If he finds out, I'll have nothing. Absolutely nothing.